Hey everyone, my name is Cole. The time has finally come for my most anticipated movie of 2023, The Creator. Those who subscribe to me know that The Creator has been a movie I have hyped up a lot since the first trailer dropped. From 2 videos discussing the trailers, news, theories, etc., and a whole video about Gareth Edwards and the history of his career, it has all led here. I'm gonna get to the point and let you know that this is a spoiler warning. I cannot comprehend discussing this film without talking about it freely, so enjoy. Gareth Edwards. I cannot believe it. There were some reviews that worried me about this picture and the quality of the script, but nothing could stop me from absolutely ascending from the overwhelming amount of emotion this film brought to the forefront. I have a very unique connection to this film, as the few videos I dropped required me to immerse myself in the making and development of it. Plus, I watched the first 2 trailers 100 times because I could not get over the questions it asked in regards to humanity, creation, and artificial intelligence. I struggled to sleep due to excitement for the film. I was so invested in its message and the questions it asked. Now, after seeing the film, I'm happy to say that The Creator is a sci-fi masterpiece. I don't know where to begin other than talking about the man himself, Gareth Edwards. Edwards recently stated that his 2 favorite films are the original Blade Runner and Apocalypse Now. That is completely evident, as The Creator is essentially fused with those 2 films. From the world, music, and morality the film displayed in both its visuals and narrative, you can tell that this was a passion project for Edwards, and I commend him for giving us an original sci-fi movie. It's rare nowadays that we even get an authentic and original motion picture. Everything seems like a sequel, reboot, remake, or just pure garbage. The Creator has its inspirations, like every film, but it works hard to enter its own space. My one friend made a great point in saying that some of the negative reviews could largely be due to the fact that audiences were not spoon-fed everything and are left to interpret the messages and themes of the film. The script not being streamlined benefits the film, as every other aspect complements it so very well. One of the biggest positives of the film is the jaw-dropping visuals that were created with a budget of $80 million, which I hope revolutionizes Hollywood, because a lot of the $250 million blockbuster movies we have been getting recently look like Spy Kids level mediocre. It helps that we have one of my favorite cinematographers, Greg Fraser, and one of the best up-and-coming cinematographers, Oren Soffer, leading the charge and giving us one of the greatest visual experiences of all time. There were so many sequences that had impeccable lighting and numerous silhouette shots that left me gasping in the theater. Edwards has always communicated his love for scale, and communicating that factor with his crew to make his visuals feel larger than life. I couldn't help but smile every time I saw an original sequence, frame, and shots that made me say to myself, this is historic. I cannot get over the monumental details in the CGI and the direction. The robots looked absolutely phenomenal and their movement was so fluent. Gareth Edwards has stated that he did not tell any of the actors if they were human or AI, as he wanted them to have genuine and authentic human characteristics. This largely benefited the atmosphere of the film and how every character was portrayed. Edwards simply directed the fuck out of this movie. There was one sequence that left me speechless. An AI noticed him and his squad were being targeted by US forces, so he ran away and realized he steered towards a human family hidden under a destroyed home. The AI immediately stops and delivers an emotional response as he runs away from them, so the blast radius of his death and explosion would not hurt them. You have no clue if he had a personal connection to the family, or if they were random humans to begin with, but it showed that AI has the emotional intelligence to save others and not just themselves. It's so impactful how life is treated with care and weight in this film. That's another reason why I think the script is better than people believe. There's so much to the world building that enriches the entire story. Man, the world building. I would not be shocked if this film is taught in film schools in a few years. The amount of positive impact the world building had made me think this film was getting a sequel or spin-offs. Edwards effectively established the state of the world, height of technology, and social norms. It wasn't an overabundance that it got annoying, it was simply perfect. There were scenes where you could see propaganda on the TV that says AI needs to keep fighting the West, which is trying to eradicate them. I loved how we got to see the world divided on the involvement of AI in day-to-day life, with cities protesting for both the survival and destruction of artificial intelligence. One of my favorite moments was when we saw an ad for humans to donate their likeness to an app so AIs can upload their consciousness into a robot form and use a human's resemblance. It's not just cool, but horrifying due to how realistic and seemingly close to today's society it is. That's what will make this film age as good as Edwards' favorite film, Blade Runner. Technology is advancing at a rapid rate, and this idea isn't too far from today's reality. I'm starting to rant, but it's hard not to of how stuffed this film was with impactful world building. I can't forget about select sequences where we saw barbaric and brutal sweatshops, where these AIs were being put in their artificial and lifeless bodies. It was haunting to see the overproduction of these robots and the horror in their creation. The world and the creator is so vast and rich, and I am obsessed with it. Also, I hope I am not the only one who noticed this, but I think the airport scene in the third act had Scarif on the destination list, which is of course an Easter egg for Edwards' most popular film, Rogue One. Other than the masterful world building and a cool Easter egg, we need to talk about the script. Yes, it's not perfect. Sadly, I do believe that the first act was incredibly weak, even rushed, compared to the action-packed and gut-wrenching second and third acts. Once in a blue moon, the dialogue happened to be cheesy, along with being a little bit too on the nose. There were some moments where I asked myself why a character did certain things, how something didn't blow up, how convenient select things were, but it didn't ruin the film because everything else was exceptional. I have to praise John David Washington for his performance as Joshua. I felt genuinely invested in his mere screen presence, which was largely benefited from his powerful character arc that emotionally destroyed me. His arc throughout the film started with him being very cynical about AI, seemingly accepting his extinction and the lack of care for his own life. We watch as he grows and finds empathy for those around him, and AI as he watches how the AI around him have more humanity than humans themselves. Joshua's character story is very organic and helps create the bridge for the audience to understand his change of heart. Lastly, in regards to acting, we might have one of the best child actors I have ever seen, definitely one of the best performances by a child actor in cinema history. Madeline Voiles won my heart. Edwards said that she was one of the first actresses to audition for the role of Alfie and that she spoke to him with her performance. I fully understand and feel like this performance was something truly special. Her bond with the character of Joshua was so strong and powerful. Her line delivery was fucking flawless, and her eyes spoke 1,000 words when she traded emotional lines with Joshua in the third act. I was mesmerized by their chemistry. Alfie was the heart of the film, and I am still speechless by Madeline's performance. This script, in my opinion, was Edwards' best. Sure, there were flaws, but goddamn was it remarkable. The United States had a nuke set off in Los Angeles, which we eventually find out wasn't because of AI, but human error, though it was blamed on AI. There were so many dialogue exchanges and sequences that captured the desperation for human domination. What I mean by that is humanity's desire to be the ruler of all. So many of the human characters did everything to their ability to win, to conquer, to get revenge at the cost of thousands of innocent people. It was all about control and superiority. There was a lot of commentary in the horrors of war and human reliance on bombs/drones to destroy an enemy, ignoring all collateral damage. We can all admit humanity's wrongs and the moral ethics of certain actions. It's just so engaging to see characters' emotions as they watch an AI die, good and bad. And each time a bomb is dropped, damn, the editing is so good in this film that every time a bomb is dropped, you could hear a pen drop in the theater because it was done so effectively well to have pure and raw weight behind it. Like my favorite film, Blade Runner 2049, the creator's script doesn't feed you everything. Something that I have come to appreciate is that certain directors won't tell you what they think about a film, but rather want you to create your own interpretation. They want you to think. Edwards raised a lot of heavy questions about the advancement of AI and the future of humanity, but he doesn't necessarily say if it is good or bad. He clearly wanted people to interpret things on their own. I even feel that some of the world building itself raised a lot of emotions. Seeing AIs being brutally made in borderline sweatshops and humans scanning their likeness for AI to embody is startling. It makes you wonder if the advancement of artificial intelligence and expansion of technology is worth it, if that cost outweighs the possible loss of our humanity. It's like the creation of the iPhone. The creators regret it because they didn't consider the impacts it would have on society. The creator also raises positives of AI, like allowing people to possibly transfer their consciousness into AI or allow people to see their loved ones again. Of course, there are positives like increase of medical staff and other forms of labor. That also leads into the job market and that huge debate. Despite some of these positives, it's still concerning to imagine the effect AI can have on society and humanity itself. This film could not have released at a more fitting time. Let me take a step back and say that this film is not flawless. Yes, there were a few things I disliked. I have mentioned a few things throughout this video already, but my biggest complaint is that the film didn't have enough moments that allowed me as a viewer to breathe. It's strange because The Creator is one of the few films that I believe would benefit from an extra 10 minutes to pad out some of the crucial scenes to help the emotion beats hit harder. For an example, the scene where Joshua finds out Maya is in heaven was rushed in my opinion. He was entering this huge monk temple to hopefully find Maya, but is told on the side by a random AI that this place where Maya resides isn't the temple, but heaven. I think scenes like that are where you should utilize the actor's talent and allow him to get emotional as he can hear nothing but silence and the wind blowing around him. Creating an atmosphere of emptiness as the one thing that gave him some sort of purpose is truly gone. In this moment, Joshua loses hope. This is definitely me nitpicking, but it would have helped a lot in my eyes. Another moment that bothered me was the squad of soldiers on the assault of the AI fortress in the beginning of the film. There was next to no character development, and I know they all died, but I need to remind you that Aliens developed all of their Marines and their personalities with perfect execution, and it made their deaths way more impactful. It is what it is. It's a nitpick, but I think having these soldiers be more than mindless killing machines would have been better, though maybe Edwards was just wanting to express how humanity has lost its, well, humanity. A bit on the nose, but I'm just throwing ideas out there. I will say, the score by Hans Zimmer wasn't really apparent in this film. I am seeing it again for a second time fairly soon, so maybe I will focus on it more this time around, but it didn't hit me as hard as the cinematography did. Anyway, the train sequence fucked me up. It was in the trailers, and I think it was a huge reason so many people wanted to see the film to begin with. Alfie was asking Joshua about heaven and if he will go to that place. This question is beautifully presented and the visual storytelling was 10 times more impactful. You can hear the innocence in Alfie's voice, and you can see the hopelessness on Joshua's face. It's so well performed, directed, and written. It's truly one of the key highlights of the film. It was everything I wanted and more. It makes it even better that it is organically developed throughout the film. Truly one of my favorite moments in cinema history. Now, one of the best moments of the film is something I have to talk about. I cannot walk away from this video without discussing it because I think everyone was almost in tears in my theater. Many people were even heartbroken because of what happened in this third act. Joshua realized it was over. For Alfie to live, he must die. As the Nomad was exploding around him, by the way, this is the coolest scene in cinema ever. Where was I? Oh yes. As the Nomad was exploding around him, he begins to realize it is the end. You know that Joshua has accepted his extinction, as he once put it. Joshua breaks down in an emotional and gut-wrenching tone and tells Alfie that he is going to heaven because of her. He is going to heaven because of her. She made him a good person. A good person because he did everything to protect this AI and he found empathy for things other than himself. These two characters who had grown together and bonded are separated by a wall, and all he can do is yell at the top of his lungs that he loves her. A character so haunted and tortured by the loss of his wife and unborn child, who has lost his parents and seemingly life because of the war of humans versus AI that led him to despise and deny the life of AI, is now saying he loves a synthetic life form. He would sacrifice his life for her, an artificial intelligence that is more alive than the humans around him. It's so beautiful and poetic. I literally couldn't stop breaking down during the scene. If you were crying, we all know it got way worse. I believe there's a certain moment that is so legendary for cinema that reminded me of the end of Christopher Nolan's Inception, a scene that is so beautiful and poetic that I cannot stop thinking about it. The scene was in the final moments of The Creator. Joshua constantly said that AI isn't real. It's just programming. that their emotions and words they simply speak aren't alive. We watched as Joshua saw other human characters having loving connections to AI, which visually left him with bitterness as this war has taken so much from him. He said that he would do anything to spend one last minute with his wife, to see her one last time at the end. We get that. Alfie previously dragged a robotic replica of Maya and inserted a memory chip into her body. Joshua knows this version of Maya isn't real, that she could essentially be programmed in his final moments. Hell, he doesn't even know if it is really her in there. But it does not matter. It does not matter. He gets to be with her one last time. That pain, that loss, and that grief is all surrendered as he gets to kiss the one thing he cherished and lived for. The Nomad collapses around him as he dies while he embraces his wife in their final moments. This scene, man. Fucking cinema. Say whatever you want about the creator, but you can never claim it to be lifeless and disingenuous. Gareth Edwards, wherever you are, thank you. It's so rare we get a film like this. There's so much life, richness to its script, and beauty behind every frame. I'm so grateful I got to spend the night with my friends and my gorgeous wife to see this masterpiece. I hope you all find time out of your day to see this film. I am still processing it and am about to go see it a second time. I definitely believe this film is going to be a misunderstood masterpiece. A film that people are probably going to dislike at first, watch it a few years down the road, and then fucking adore it. But hey, I'm just ready to see what Gareth Edwards does next. Let me know what you thought of The Creator. My mind is still blown. I can't believe I watched this film. Been a long time coming. God damn. It's funny because I was so nervous it was going to be mid because of the reviews that were scaring me, but then I was sobbing like a bitch in the third act. Anywho, like and subscribe, follow my dumbass on Letterboxd. I need to start brainstorming what movie I will review next because more anticipated films of 2023 don't really drop until late October and the entire month of November. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the video and my psychotic rants. As always, my friends, peace.